but it's now my pleasure to recognize my colleagues to share their perspectives and priorities for the year ahead, starting with Vice Chair Garvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to thank my colleagues for the honor of serving as your Vice Chair this year. A big thank you to Katie Crystal for her fine leadership last year. It's not easy being chair, in case anybody wonders, it's not. And congratulations, and thank you to our new chair, Christian Dorsey. Clearly, 2023 is going to be a transition year with both of you leaving us at the end, but at least this outstanding board team has one more year together, and it's going to be a good one, I think. This year we continue to be blessed with great staff, without whom nothing would get done, and we are blessed with a great community to work with, despite divisions and disagreements at times. Christian, I'm so glad you're continuing to emphasize equity, and that began with your last chairmanship. And 4 years of persistent focus is really paying off. It's so rewarding to see the strides that we have been making. The Community Oversight Board is up and running. We have a new, less subjective way to support our nonprofits. We have begun a long-needed whole-of-government approach to address the many effects of discrimination in the Arlington View neighborhood, and more. Our equity work is not done, of course, but we are starting to see real change, and that bodes very well for the future. As always, we face challenges this year. A new one, I think, is the changing nature of work. The move away from office to virtual work is big, but I think the bigger change may be reassessing the value of essential jobs. Work like that of nurses, teachers, child care workers, public safety, mental health workers, water and sewer workers, just to name some of them. These jobs provide essential services, but they usually don't pay all that well, and they're difficult and can even be dangerous. I think employers everywhere will need to better reward essential work if we are going to have people to take the jobs that create and maintain our quality of life. I think this changing nature of work will play out in our budget this year and for years to come. Our major local challenge at the moment is missing middle. Of course, I suspect we're all going to talk about missing middle. It has divided Arlington and upset more people than any other issue that I've worked on, and I've worked on some pretty divisive issues. I see a number of reasons for this. For one, Arlington is rather schizophrenic. We have both suburban and urban personalities. Now, marriages of opposites can do quite well, but they're not easy, and they do require good communication. I appreciate our chair's call for more respectful dialogue and real listening. In my 26 years in elected office, the need for better communication and engaging all stakeholders has been a constant. We keep trying, and we keep using more new methods while keeping the old ones. We get better, but it is just hard. Think about the simple phrase, "I love Arlington." One person says that and is thinking of our quiet, leafy neighborhoods with houses far apart. Another person says the same thing, but means the lively, vibrant, and noisy urban corridors. They use the same words, but they mean very different things. To those differing views expressed with the exact same words, throw in the nature of people to hear not what they expect to hear, not what they actually heard. Add to that our own government tendency to respond with more and more information, which makes it harder and harder for a clear message to come through. Top it all off with the current climate where opponents like to demonize each other and catastrophize outcomes. Then bake it in a social media stew where misinformation, rumors, and fears fly through a community. You have a recipe for real communication trouble. A silver lining to all this that I've seen is that we have turned more to personal conversations and meetings, often with smaller groups of people. During 2022, that's been a pleasure for me personally. I've been able to connect and reconnect with so many people in these discussions where we could talk more with each other than at each other. Often, however, I found the discussions were not really about whether missing middle zoning is good as a strategy, but were actually about whether the goal of missing middle is good. And there were lots of arguments about what that goal actually is, and once assumptions were made about that, and often the assumptions were different, if that was a good goal. With missing middle, we have been wrestling with what our vision is for the future of Arlington by arguing about how to get there. As I see it, missing middle has forced us to begin the strategic plan discussion that has been avoided for years. With Missing Middle, we've begun to talk more explicitly about the kind of Arlington we want. Many say they want what they have now, and that's understandable. Overall, Arlington is a great place to live, work, and play. But staying the same, of course, is not an option. It's been said, if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go with a lot of people. We want Arlington to go far, to always be an attractive place to live, work, and play for many different kinds of people. To do that, I think we need to build more of a consensus on what that actually means and then on how to get there. That will take time and some resources. But it is an investment I think we need to make. As Yogi Berra said, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. Now, I'm not suggesting we have no idea where we are going. We do. We have lots of master plans and policies, but probably too many to provide our residents a clear vision for Arlington's future. We certainly do not have community consensus on what that future should be. Missing Middle is making our lack of consensus about that quite clear. I also am not suggesting that we stop everything and do a strategic plan before adopting Missing Middle zoning. We need to get started on more flexible zoning. But we need to do it in a way that relieves the fear of dire consequences that concern so many. Over time, many adjustments can be made, course adjustments, as Christian called them, as we clarify our vision for Arlington's future and use zoning changes to help us get there. I am suggesting we spend some time in 2023 looking at the big challenges we likely will face over the next several decades, discussing where we want to be after those decades and how we will get there. Discussions will probably be difficult as different visions and their trade-offs become explicit, and there will never be consensus. But I think our discussions would be more productive if we can be more clear about what are the goals and what are the strategies. Of course, this is just my view, and I do not set the board agenda, I'm well aware, but if my colleagues and our residents think this is a worthwhile endeavor, we might at least start to think about a process for these more explicit discussions about what we want Arlington to be in a few decades and how we will get there. So, lots of work to do, lots of blessings, and lots of important conversations to be had in 2023. I look forward to it and wish everyone a happy and healthy new year. Thank you.